Boys, what's going on? Legion here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind episode 57. So, we're going to jump into an XP update right out the gate. So, we got 289,000 attack XP. We've been working on this a little bit. Woodcutting, 999,000 XP. This is crazy. We've been doing a lot of this behind the scenes, and we're so close to 1 million, which is actually our goal. Construction, 2,007,000. Runecrafting, 519,000 XP. Magic, 80,000. Mining, 4,061,000. Artisan, 4,088,000. And cooking, 210,000. So we've been working on quite a bit of different things behind the scenes in the game. And what we're trying to do right now is not die from a warband attack. We actually don't really want to fight these guys. So we're actually going to take off and not worry about that. So let's go ahead and teleport to the right lodestone so that way we can get started on what we want to show you. So we've been working incredibly hard. As you can see out here in the valley, we've basically got no more trees. And there's a couple that are on the ground that we haven't actually exploded yet. That's how we got most of our XP, just sort of cleaning up the forest. So obviously lots of different things going on in the game. And obviously no new updates really from the RuneScape Dragonwilds developer team. But we've been collecting lots of cooking materials as well. So we've been really hard at work behind the scenes. And obviously, once we do go ahead and get this million woodcutting XP, I want to sort of talk about the direction that we're going to go towards as far as getting more XP in the game. And then obviously starting to sort of establish new directions for how we want our next goals to look like and what they're basically going to consist of. So it's obviously going to be quite a large road, and obviously there's always going to be new skills to come into the game. So I think that there's always going to be something to do, and then when there's not, I guess at that point, then we would have new goals established in the game. But for right now, I think that we're making incredible progress. Hopefully you guys are as well in whatever you're working on in the game. And but this has actually been quite fun, sort of running around collecting all the trees that we sort of left on the ground from so long ago, so many episodes ago anyway. Sorry about that, I had to get a drink of water. For some strange reason, it's just at different times I don't know what it is. But we've got lots of red berries we've been collecting behind the scenes. And that's obviously, this is sort of glitching out. It's quite irritating. So let's just go ahead and pop both of these at once. We didn't really bother to actually pop a woodcutting potion, and the only reason is because we're pretty much almost right there. The only problem now is all over the game, we've sort of got trees that we've felled, and sorry about that. Essentially now, we don't really have, we're not probably going to go pick those up as if we would have if we were seeking woodcutting XP as much. But I guess I will pick them up as it would bother me quite a bit to not do that. So that's just going to be a sort of a different side project that I'm not going to put too large amounts of time into, because I'm not that concerned about a bunch of fallen trees around the map. Hopefully once Fell Hollow comes to the game, I'm not spending an incredible amount of time in this beginner area anyway, except potentially when fishing comes to the game and farming. I'm not sure what that's going to look like, but it might require players to sort of have to come back to these areas to sort of give for different things that might be like level based, and at that point, yes, I would be spending a little bit more time. Let's go ahead and see how much. So we're really close. So I just want to grab these red berries. It's an addiction. I can't help myself, so it's unfortunate, but obviously knowing I've got to be working on cooking, what I really need to do is sort of move lodestones and sort of have them around those sort of things. So that way, when we're working on cooking, we sort of just jump in, be collecting runes essence, and as well as sort of collecting berries as well. So these are things that are going to be sort of how we're changing the way that we do things. So let's go ahead and grab these logs right here. That's going to be some pretty good XP. I think we needed about 200, so that's 75 right there. And then we're going to grab this, and then we're going to keep going on. Looks like there's some wood right over there, so it's not going to be too hard to get that XP. It's crazy when I looked how long the game, like I think it came out May 16th, and it's just so wild. Like, one, I've accomplished such a crazy amount of things in that time, but then also looking at it from a different view, I think that ultimately it's just more than that. I think really I guess I felt like there should be so much more content for a game, but then at the same time, the game really hasn't been out that long, so it's not really the end of the world that they're taking their time. Um, I think it's just that I sort of got a lot of things done really fast, so I'm at a place now where obviously we've got to put our direction into different ways, so that way we can continue to focus on working on different things in a game to continue having objectives. That way we keep ourselves busy until new content comes to the game. But anyway, so I believe we're there. 1 million woodcutting XP. So this is actually crazy, and it's such an accomplishment, and I'm actually very happy about it. And we worked really hard for that. So that's obviously a really good thing. So let's go ahead and then potentially look at some other things that we want to do, which is obviously turn these into hard leather, because we're going to have to start making. It looks like we've still got some of that in there, but we're actually going to have to start making more bronze armor. It's a big project, and we're actually really, really excited about it. We've got lots of swamp tar behind the scenes. I'm not sure if I've showed you my next row of mannequins I've been working on here, so I'm just trying to keep it going with bronze armor. But we did put, I think, a whole complete row of bronze armor mannequins in. I'm not sure if that's in my last episode or not. But ultimately, we've got lots of other armor in here too. I just haven't found a way that I can incorporate this without having to make another row for each of these, which wouldn't be the end of the world, except vault shards would be a little bit of a problem, because ultimately, I don't think we need to go further back. I think we're quite good where we are. It's just I've got all these extra sets of armor. I don't even know how I came across them, because to be quite honest with you, it doesn't really make sense. But ultimately, I haven't really found a way to incorporate those into what we're doing here. Potentially, I could add little pillars right here, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that just quite yet. But ultimately, what we can work on a little bit, I guess, since we're here, is cooking. We've actually got quite a bit of resources for that. So let's go ahead, I guess, and start working on that. I actually was not going to do that in this episode, but I feel like, why not? What's the wait? What are we waiting for? So let's go ahead and pull all this out. And then it looks like we're going to need a little bit more water as well for our inventory. I'd just rather grab it now than need it later and not have it. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to pop out a cooking potion, except I don't see them here. So it probably got left right here. There we go. It's just crazy, my sort of my progression in the game and the way that I do things, because I'm used to being so disorganized and can never find anything. So a lot of my older videos, I would spend so much time just looking for things because I was incredibly disorganized. So the fact that I've gotten that under control in just extreme ways, I think that's actually great, not just for you guys who are watching, but for me who's playing. And there's just, you're constantly always learning, I suppose, maybe not necessarily learning new things to help you play the game, but obviously that's probably one of the bigger things, but it could be a lot of different ways. So let's go ahead and drop all these in here. We got quite a bit, and we've been, like I said, behind the scenes, we've been collecting a lot of different things for food, for cooking. So obviously we're never really going to have enough. It's a constant progression. It's a constant battle to have to basically spend ridiculous amounts of time trying to acquire all these resources, and there's really no easy way. And that's sort of the way that they've made it, and it is what it is. So I don't want to start mixing everything up too crazy. Let's go ahead and pull these 9 out and leave them in here, and then we'll just sort of drop all this stuff in one of these chests, but they're all full of random junk. So there we go. We've also been doing a lot more behind the scenes in regards to rune crafting. We've actually been shooting down a ton of the rune essence, so when we do decide to do that in one of our future episodes, we're going to have a ridiculous amount of rune essence to actually pick up, unless we sort of decide that we're going to just do something completely different and then just have to sort of start tackling it in smaller batches. But that just depends on how much time I'm going to be putting in behind the scenes. So I'm not going to pick this cabbage, even though it's screaming out to me. But basically, let's talk about it. Like, what are we going to be doing? Rune crafting is, I mean, that's so far from 1 million. It doesn't look like it, but honestly, I put so much time into it. But I'm not going to stop. I just don't know if I'll have 1 million. I should have 1 million, actually, by Fair Hollow. So that would be actually quite great. Construction, I really don't think I need to touch it anymore. And I don't think that, I mean, I think that's going to be level 99 easy. So I don't really think we need to even mess with construction anymore. Wood cutting might not be level 99, and we'll address that sooner. once we start to get updates in a game and we find out what level 99 is going to look like. Attack 289,000. So honestly, I feel like getting 350,000, 400,000 attack XP is actually going to be sufficient for me. It's really difficult to level up. Magic, the same story. I just don't think I'm going to get no 350,000. I think by the time Valhalla comes out, this should be at 250,000 XP. That's really the goal. Mining, 4,061,000. Obviously, this is going to level up as new things come into the game. So I imagine that once we reach, like, well, it'll already be level 99, I imagine. That's probably plenty of XP. But I think, ultimately, once new essence come, I'm not really essence, but once new ores come to the game, I will be spending a lot more time mining to make different things and work on projects. So who knows where I'll end, but I know that we're in a good spot now. And then an artisan, we've got 4,090,000. I imagine this is easily going to end up in a 6 million range by the time we're completely done with everything. Possibly more. And then with cooking, 211,000. I mean, I really don't see this being past 400,000 XP by the time Valhalla comes to the game, if we can even get there. But clearly, we've put so much time into the game so quickly, we've actually got quite a bit of things done. So it obviously leaves a weird feeling of, what are we going to do when we sort of start to run out of different things to try to do? And I think that's when projects are going to come into play. And maybe we'll start building again once we reach our goals if Valhalla has not come to the game. But for right now, we've got a lot of different resources. So I'm going to go ahead and build some more bronze armor. I think that would just be something kind of fun to do right now. So I think we are going to do that. So we're going to have to grab out our hard leather and some resources here. And we're also going to have to put all this food away. And then obviously once our food's done cooking, we can do a little bit of an XP update, but it'll be primarily just what we've gotten in, obviously, what we've been working on. So let's go ahead and see. We got some bronze bars. It's really not going to be enough. We're going to have to get more. So we're going to go in our storage warehouse really quick, which has just got so much in here. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is crazy. But we're running out of bronze bars. But actually, I don't really think we are, because I believe in the fractured plains, we've got a chest and it's full of bars. We just haven't got it, because ultimately it takes so long to load into that zone. So I haven't really went back to get some of my resources. Now, I really should, though. I should. It just takes time. But ultimately, let's see. I think we're going to be able to make 4 of each of these. I'm not 100% sure. But I actually quite like this project. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's super fun to basically just have this insane amount of armor statues. I never realized how fun that might be, but I think it's really cool. So we obviously got a little bit more bronze bars, so now we can make a little bit more armor. And then once we're done with this, we're probably going to go put it on the mannequins. And I guess we could take you guys to the fractured plains, so we can see some of the things that we've built in the past, and from there, sort of figure out what we actually have out there for supplies, because I'm not quite sure what I have out there anymore, and it's been so long. So maybe we could see what else we can add to our storage warehouse, or potentially some other things. So let's go ahead and put this on here, and then we can go ahead and do that. But I don't know, there's something rewarding about just putting this armor on mannequins, and it's not like it's easy. It's not like you just pick up the armor off the ground and do it. It's like you've actually got to put in quite a bit of work. So I think that there's just a huge benefit of it, like a rewarding feeling of just knowing what you've done in the game to reach this place. So I also got rid of all my sawmills. I'm not sure if that was on the last episode or not, but those are all gone. And the big reason for that, really, is just I really don't need them anymore. And I just didn't see the point. So hopefully when we spawn in here, we don't get bombarded by a ridiculous amount of Garu. But those are 2 giant chests full of bronze shields. We also got a ton more chests at our base. Some of our creations are really cool. I believe that chest is full of scrolls, but we don't really need to bring those to the base. I feel like it's not really necessary. But this is actually a great place to grab dwellberries as well. We don't really come here, as you can see how long it takes to load in. We've got our incomplete roller coaster, and that was a project that was a lot of fun. It just was very time consuming. So, I mean, I can't even tell you how many hours we probably spent on that. We've got our Golden Gate Bridge over there. So many things. We've destroyed certain things. We got our Titanic here, which is, I mean, that was just loads of fun to build. We got our pyramid. Just so much. We got our cool, I believe it's a Japanese temple. We did our best with that. I think it came out really good. So much time exploring the game. There's our waterfall, gargoyle, or whatever it is. I can't even remember what we really quite named it. Demon. Our demon waterfall. I don't even know. That was sort of weird. I was just walking around in the game and I saw the waterfall and I thought, I could sort of make it just a creature sort of spitting out water. Which is crazy. But ultimately, I'm excited for when they add new structures to the game. Hopefully, they increase how high we can build. And I think that would really open up the door for potential new creations that I want to make in a game. We've actually got our Space Needle back over there as well, which you can't really see from here. But it's getting nighttime here. So we are going to go over here really quick. And I guess there's not as much chest as I thought there was. We must have come back here at some point and got a lot of resources. So that's quite unfortunate. Looks like we got a lot of granite. Those are both empty. So looks like we had come back here at a different time. And I don't really want to grab all that stone. And we've got a little bit of this. So I guess we'll take that. We're right here. And then we'll go ahead and destroy these both. Because obviously we don't really need them here anymore. And I guess that's all of it. I thought I had a lot more over here. But ultimately, I guess I could take you over there. The Space Needle. You can actually see the pillar for it. But you can't really see the object. So we are going to go back. Put all this stuff in our warehouse. And then we are probably going to go do a little bit of skilling. That would be quite fun. So it's just crazy. I'd like to do so much in the game, and we're slowly working on it, and we'll get there. But I guess we'll go ahead and grab the rest of our food with our cooking potion active, and then after that, we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of skilling. So I guess that's all the food. It's all made. So really quickly here, where are we at? 214,552 cooking XP. It's not great. It's sort of sad, really, how much time I spend. I've got 2 chests full of food, and you just would think that you'd have a lot more cooking XP considering. But like I talked about before, you might say, oh, well, don't worry, there's going to be new potions, or, sorry, not potions, but new things that you're going to be able to sort of make in a game, and that's going to help you. But ultimately, those creatures are also going to take a lot more time, and they're going to be a lot harder to kill. So I don't necessarily think it's going to make it any easier. I think what's going to happen is that essentially, who knows? I guess everything is still really up in the air. I know they've given us a roadmap, and they've talked about a lot of different things, but we're really still uncertain of so much in the game. So everything's just going to basically just be as it comes and hope for the best. But I don't know, you can see here that we've already been here a few times trying to knock these down so we can gather more rune essence. And I don't know. Oh, that's a good idea. I can show you the forest gone. I mean, we annihilated a really, really large part of the forest around here. And that's ultimately just because we wanted to do that. I mean, those aren't even there no more. That, I think it just looks like it. That's a graphics glitch. But I ultimately just wish it was a little bit easier to get these rune essence XP. I find it a little bit frustrating that you have to sort of just go all around to get it. But I guess with the lodestones, it definitely makes it a lot easier. So I guess I really shouldn't complain. You can actually see a little bit logs on the mountain over there. But look at this. I know those trees aren't even there. That's actually not real. It's a loading issue. But we've gotten rid of so much. But I wonder how big of a pile I could actually get if I just kept doing this for days and days and days until it was ridiculous. that's probably what would be a really fun thing to do, actually, is just get ridiculously crazy piles of this and then gather it all at once, potentially, and get just an insane amount of XP. But even then, it's not an insane amount of XP. It's very minimal, and it's just going to take time. That's pretty much it. But obviously, we're committed. I mean, we've made it this far, and we're going to keep working towards our goal. But this is basically the best way to do it. I mean, this is why I am excited for range to come to the game. So that way, at least if I'm doing this and there's potentially creatures who can offer me, you know, hides or meat, things like that, it will allow me an opportunity to sort of do it all at once. There's obviously more lodestones I could add for more runescence, but I just feel like you've got to sort of draw a line at some point. I'm sure I've talked about it a little bit in other episodes, and I started to add more lodestones, but what you start to realize is that you get this incredibly insane amount of lodestones you have to hit in an episode, or just in general. It's not even just about the episode. I think what it really comes down to is it's incredibly time consuming. I mean, you're going to sit here for a great length of time trying to collect everything you just shot down, which it doesn't sound too horrible. I guess I just wish you got a little bit more rune crafting XP for doing all this, because like I said, it does take a little bit of time. I think once range comes to the game completely, I think you'll be able to shoot more arrows before you have to wait for more energy as well, because clearly right now we don't have that extra buff from having it being a certain level. It would allow you to shoot a little bit more, I believe, before it has to recharge like that. But I think this is actually really good too as well, because you're obviously going to be getting better at shooting your bow. I think that the more time you spend shooting these down, it sort of allows you to have free target practice, which I think can be a little bit beneficial as well. Because depending on the creatures that you're going to be fighting, I think we have no idea what that's going to look like. This is an area we haven't shot down Essence in a while. We don't really come over here that much. This place can actually be incredibly dangerous, and there it is. The danger's real. So we've got to get away from there right now. Let's see. So let's just go ahead and go back to our base. And then we didn't really get any more actual rune essence. We were just sort of setting ourselves up for an easier time later. But before I let you go, I will show you one thing here. Those are all full of ash logs, except the top one. It's quite crazy. So, and there's more here in our base that we haven't even put away because we haven't made any more storage chests. But basically, this entire thing is littered with different things. But I think the great thing about sort of knocking off achievements on our goals is now we can sort of put all of our logs away inside the storage warehouse. And then we don't really have to worry about it getting mixed in anymore. I think the more and more you do certain things and complete the objectives, you no longer have to just sort of have everything all mixed up and in the way. But basically, that's probably going to do it for this episode. Obviously, we're going to be doing a little bit more work behind the scenes. And then from there, we're going to be reaching more of our goals. So we hope you guys enjoyed this episode and many more to come. So thanks for watching. And until next time, Legion Uda out.